Welcome to another episode of The Shredded Show. Today I'm going to talk to you all about binge eating, food disorders, and how these things come awry, and probably my own personal experience with these endeavors. So we're going to keep this fairly short, concise episode. It's going to be me talking through my personal experiences, what I see with clients, how to overcome these challenges, and how to set yourself up for long-term success, not just physically, but also mentally, which is also one of the main goals here. So in regards to like fat loss and binge eating is very much in an emotional state. So like personally, I've been going through a lot of personal stress recently. It's a lot of emotional stress, which has been going on in my life, which we all have, and it's all perfectly normal. People will find that they have different ways of dealing with things like that. Some people will bury themselves into work, which I do as well, bury myself into exercise, and other people also bury themselves into food and overeating and over-consuming delicious snack food, which obviously we want to try and mitigate for health and longevity purposes, and also staying shredded. So like this is perfectly normal, firstly, if this is you. So if you're listening to this and you're in a position where you're really, really stressed and you find you're reaching out for junk food, stuff like this all the time, firstly, that's okay. And you just need to understand that that's okay. Now, what we want to try and do is trying to take back control and think about like you have conscious control of your thoughts, your emotions, and how you feel in this present moment. You have the ability to decide how you react to every challenge in life, and everything that's thrown in front of you, it's your choice on how you consciously feel. So whether you reach out for the bag of Doritos and dip when you get a stressful phone call because your family member's unwell, or whatever it might be, you have the conscious decision of how you react to these difficult challenges in life. And that's ultimately like what will make or break you in terms of where you go to and how successful you are with the different things you want to try and do. And the most important thing is you understanding that like everything is a constant choice. Now, when it comes to binge eating, like to talk it back, I used to be overweight when I was younger, and I still love food, and that's never going to go away. And I know that skeleton's in the back of my closet, and like my friends know that, my family know that, everyone knows I love that. And for example, in case is one of my best friends, Mike, aka Built by Fitness on Instagram. A lot of you guys will know him. He has just gone to Dubai. He knows I love Cheesecake Factory. He has bought an entire cheesecake, frozen it, and brought it back for me. So like, as an example of people knowing that I love food, that's an example. And this is a situation where, like, say, for example, someone giving you an entire cheesecake can very much lead to binge eating and overeating. So scenarios where this sort of thing tends to take place. So, for example, when people are on a fitness journey, I hate to use that word, but when they're on a diet, let's call it that, or a lifestyle transformation, they will find that they diet through all the week really, really fine. And then the Saturday comes and it's an absolute shit show and they fall apart. So there's some very simple strategies I recommend for people to try and mitigate this. So one of the things I recommend with all my clients is firstly, we change language here. So we don't use the word cheat meal, cheat day. We use the word free meal because it implies you're free to do whatever you want. And again, it's your own conscious empowerment. You get to choose what you want to eat. Now, I give recommendations in that I generally don't recommend junk food or processed shit. So if you want to have a dessert, that's fine, but you can have one slice of cheesecake, not the entire cheesecake. So it's being consciously able to control the amount of food you're eating in these sittings and enjoying it. And then that's such an empowering point when you suddenly realize, like, I can go out, I can have a 3-course meal, I can have a dessert and just have one dessert, and I can still crush my week and get awesome results, which I do with all my clients and I do with myself. Because that's the point of living, is that you actually can do the things you love. I love food. I don't want to take away the foods that I love, but I just know I need to keep those within moderation of maybe controlling that to once or twice a week. So this is a very simple thought process. And something else that I know that myself I've become a victim of becoming, I get lured into. If you put food in front of me, I'll just eat it. So for example, if you buy a dessert for yourself and your partner, you buy an entire cheesecake as an example. This is pretty much a cheesecake themed podcast. You don't want to have, say you have one slice of cheesecake, your partner has another slice of cheesecake. Just because the entire rest of the cheesecake is sitting there does not mean you have to eat it. Now, I have been there myself personally before, where like I'll just keep going. I'll think, oh, I don't want to waste the food, or like and this is even worse. This is what used to happen to me when I first started getting into the nutrition world, and I just got that whole BS, which do not buy into, of entire cheat days where you can just eat junk food and it will boost your metabolism. Like, that is complete BS. You having an entire day eating junk food it's going to massively ramp up inflammation, make you feel like crap. The next day you're going to feel like crap physically, and you're also going to feel very guilty. So let's avoid that for a start. But this is what happens, is that when you've got cheesecake minus 2 portions from yourself and your partner, it's sitting there like, oh, I don't want it to go to waste. So you just keep eating, just keep eating, just keep eating. And that's very, very much the case of what happens with me, and used to happen where I'd go around and I'd finish off, like we go out for a meal, I'd finish off everyone else's food. And I wondered why I couldn't get lean, or I struggled to lose weight because I was in a calorie deficit the rest of the week. But then on Saturday, I'd probably have like 8,000 calories because people just overeat and they go for it too much. And in reality, like, I don't care who you are, you can't out train a bad diet, like within reason. It just doesn't work. So you really need to be conscious of like taking back control and just not moronically eating for the sake of it. So even Saturday night, for example, myself and my wife had a takeaway like Turkish food with like grilled meats, like rice. And like anyone knows, I'm also a big fan of not just cheesecake, but also bread. So we got tons and tons of bread, like came with it all. As usual, she ate very little, and then I'm left with mountains of bread. And I got to the point where I ate and I was very full. And I was like, you know what, this is time to stop, because once you go beyond the point of no return, you feel horrendous because you've eaten too much. You're also going to completely screw your progress for the week. And then the whole like experience doesn't become enjoyable anymore. So you sometimes have to push to the upper echelons of going too far to realize like what the extremes are of like, I don't want to feel that crap again because I've eaten too much. And to talk about like stories of eating too much reminds me of when I last competed in 2018, 2 years ago now. I've already mentioned my love for Turkish food. Super lean, depleted, competed that day, and I was like, I want to go out for this Turkish meal. I'm going to go in, and literally with all my friends, we ordered platters of food. I don't think I've ever eaten so much. My stomach had obviously shrunk. I have never felt so unwell in my life. You know, when you hear those stories of like models eating so much that they end up dying, I actually ended up lying on my bathroom floor at 12:30 at night, like a turtle, with my stomach bloated, distended. I literally felt I was going to like explode. I was genuinely concerned my stomach might explode, and I ended up being projectile, being vomiting, and I felt fine. But that has always stuck in my mind of like, why on earth did you do that? And I think everyone sometimes needs to have those experiences if something like binge eating or overeating is something that has maybe been a skeleton in your closet in your mind you need to be aware of. Just think like, this isn't conducive to you with anything in life. You're just eating for the sake of eating a lot of the time, and just try and really take back control. And again, this is one of the things why having like coaches and accountability and people, mentors or friends, just having a support network around you is so important, because when you've got that network around you, like as human beings, inherently, we don't want to let other people down. So if you've got a coach you're checking in with every week, what's going to happen is you're not going to want to check in and be like, yeah, Saturday I ate like 5 Domino's pizzas, 3 tubs of Ben and Jerry's, and I put on 4 kilos in a day, and then I felt really bad about it. Like that, inherently, you being almost like accountable and responsible to someone else will help you stay on track with your own journey. And that's why like the support networks, I bang on about this a lot, is so important, and setting yourself up for success. So like in terms of other things, in terms of like binge eating, setting yourself up for success, it's a mouthful. We want to try and make sure we're not actually putting ourselves in a situation where it's too easy for us to go off the rails. So like, if you really want to go and eat Pop-Tarts till you pass out, and that's what you want to do, and you're actually prepared to leave your house to go and get those and then come back again, then you're pretty dedicated to the cause. But the reality is, most people hit the danger zone of probably 6 to 9 o'clock in the evening. They're probably a little bit bored, they're hungry, and they're boredom eating, and they start snacking, they start ravaging through the cupboards. And that used to be me. But if you go ravaging through the cupboards and you don't have junk food, you don't have Pop-Tarts, you don't have Yorkie chocolate bars, whatever good stuff you like, cheesecakes, then guess what? You're not really going to be able to probably do that much damage. You want to go in there, you want to pick at a rice cake or 2, or some dark chocolate, or pick at an extra bit of chicken or steak or whatever it is you're eating in your diet, then by all means, that's not going to cause the end of the world. And the world's not going to come to an end because you had an extra 100 grams of steak because you were hungry. Like that, and that's the reality. And also, if you're going to go off the rails and start picking at things like chocolate and sweets and Pop-Tarts, your blood sugar is going to shoot up, and what's going to happen? You're going to start craving more and more and more, because this stuff is addictive. And it's addictive, and even in the way you look at packaging of the food, they make it bright colors, so it's appealing. like the packaging is appealing, the color of Pop-Tarts is appealing, color of cheesecakes is appealing. They make it like that to lure you in, to get you to eat more, to eat more, to eat more. So my real like advice for you today in terms of 2 things I really want you to do to stop binge eating, help you stay on track, optimize your health, and burn body fat, and literally just be happy, is firstly, be emotionally aware of you can control food. Food does not control you. And that will be the most empowering thing for you in your fat loss journey. That I can promise you. And if you, when that penny drops for you and you go out for dinner and you're there with your partner and you can say no to having an entire dessert for yourself and you share one with someone else, message me and say so, because you'll know what I mean. That's an awesome feeling. And secondly, is setting yourself up for success. Like I said, not having tons and tons of junk food at easy arm's length, because that is going to be a detriment to you. And lastly, don't beat yourself up, because in reality, we're all going through stressful times at the moment. We will have stress coming in our lives. If you fall off the wagon, that's not a problem. Just remember, champions don't fail 2 days in a row. So you might fail today, start again tomorrow. Tomorrow's a new leaf, and get going from there. Hope this is helpful, guys. Hope it's some inspiration in terms of how to best deal with binge eating, food, anything like that. If you've got any questions, drop me a message. We'd love to help. And if you want to get involved in the CJ Coaching Elite Coaching Program, hit the link below the podcast. We'd love to book in a free strategy call with myself to discuss how we can help. If this was helpful, please make sure as well you subscribe to the channel and you've also left a review, which would be sincerely appreciated. So let's get training harder, training smarter, and shredding faster.